What's going on, guys? My name is Jacob Cameron, and this is my review for Wrestle Kingdom 10. This show was just amazing. I wouldn't change anything. It was almost perfect. I'm actually recording this on the 6th because it originally aired on the 4th, live from Japan at 3 o'clock in the morning, and it was a 4-hour pay-per-view. However, I did watch it over the past 2 days, I've absorbed it, and now I'm ready to talk about it. Now, this is Japanese wrestling. It is a little bit different from WWE, only it's just a lot more awesome. And I'm going to talk about every single match on the card and give my thoughts on several things that have happened, especially recently. Seeing as though there have been some superstars like AJ Styles, Shinsuke Nakamura, and Luke Gallows, and the Machine Gun Carl Anderson that are now WWE bound, I'm going to give my thoughts on that as well, but I will get there when I get there. And just to be clear, that there's 3 weight classes when it comes to Japanese wrestling. There's heavyweight, junior heavyweight, and open weight. Heavyweight and junior heavyweight are kind of self-explanatory, but open weight is kind of the one where both heavyweight and junior heavyweight can compete for the same thing. The reason I say this is because there's several titles that are the same, but they're just in different weight classes, and so I didn't want anybody to get confused. And with that being said, here we go. So the first match on the card was a 4-way tag team match for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Championships. It was a match between Matt and Nick Jackson, otherwise known as the Young Bucks, Roppongi Vice, which consisted of Trent Beretta and Rocky Romero, Red Dragon, which consisted of Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly, who were the defending champions, and Ricochet and Matt Sydal. This match was great. It was kind of a spot fest, but I still loved it. And the Young Bucks won after pinning Rocky Romero, and they are now the new IWGP Tag Team Champions. With that being said, I'm kind of thinking that there's going to be a feud down the road between the Bucks and Red Dragon, not just in New Japan, but seeing as though both teams are employed by Ring of Honor, it's going to be interesting to see if at the next pay-per-view, the next Ring of Honor pay-per-view, if there's going to be a Young Bucks versus Red Dragon match, which if that is, then I won't complain because that would be just really cool. The next match on the card was the Briscoes and Yaro Tano versus the Bullet Club, which consisted of Yujiro Tanahashi, Bad Luck Fale, and Tama Tonga. This match was pretty self-explanatory. This was to crown the first ever 6-man, never open weight tag team champions. So it wasn't just tag team championships, it was 6-man tag team champions. And the Briscoes and Yaro Tano ended up winning when the Briscoes hit the Doomsday Device. It was a great match, nothing much to be said here. Next up, we had Jay Lethal versus Michael Elgin for the Ring of Honor World title. Now, just so you know, New Japan and Ring of Honor are kind of in a partnership right now. So, New Japan stars get to appear in Ring of Honor pay-per-views, and Ring of Honor stars get to star on New Japan shows. So, hence why we got this match. But it's kind of weird that we got this match because I know they're in a partnership, but was it really necessary? Because I remember watching it and it wasn't too spectacular. And it wasn't the wrestlers. Jay Lethal was great as usual, and Michael Elgin was great as usual. So I just didn't really see the point of the match. But it was a good match nonetheless. It was serviceable, and I'll be happy to see them fight each other again. Next match on the card, we had Kenny Omega versus Kushida for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship. Both of these guys had just killer entrances, especially Kushida. He has this whole Back to the Future gimmick thing where he comes to the ring dressed like Marty McFly, literally like Marty McFly. He's got the Life Vest jacket on, he's got the jean jacket, he's got the little shirt thing that looks like a bandana. With the exception of his wrestling trunks, he looks almost like Marty McFly, except he's Japanese. It was just a great entrance. I was expecting him to come out in a DeLorean. It was just great. And Kenny Omega came out in a Terminator themed entrance, and that was great as well. I would say even better than Triple H, but you didn't hear that from me. But Kushida ended up winning, and we have a new IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion, which says to me that since Shinsuke Nakamura is leaving and he is the current IWGP Intercontinental Champion, I think to me that says that they're going to give Kenny Omega the Intercontinental title. I think that that's where they're going, seeing as though Nakamura is going to the WWE, and I think that's where they're going to go with Kenny Omega, since he just lost the Junior Heavyweight title, and he's going to get the IWGP Intercontinental title somewhere down the line. Next up, we had the IWGP Heavyweight Tag Team titles between the Bullet Club, which consisted of the Machine Gun Carl Anderson and Doc Gallows, versus Togi Makabe and Tanaki Honma. I'm sorry, I didn't have their names memorized by heart, and they're Japanese names, so pretty hard to pronounce. But the team of Makabe and Honma won the titles, and I kind of saw this one coming because, again, Gallows and Anderson are going to the WWE, which poses this question. Are they going to be the next NXT Tag Team Champions? Because I don't think Enzo and Cass are going to be. I mean, I hope they will be, but if they're not going to, if they didn't win them at Takeover London, then that doesn't mean that they're getting them anytime soon. So my question is, are Gallows and Anderson going to be the new Tag Team Champions? Are they going to take them off Dash and Dawson? Again, it's another question for down the line. I hope they get the Tag Team Gold sometime when they go to WWE. But for now, they lost tonight, but they are WWE bound. Next up, we had a grudge match between Hiroki Goto and Tatsuya Naito. This was kind of the weakest match of the night. And I say that with a grain of salt because none of these matches were weak in the sense of, oh, that was just terrible. Each match was just great, but when you've got matches like Shinsuke Nakamura versus AJ Styles or Okada versus Tanahashi, this match kind of seems kind of insignificant. It was still a good match, but I don't know, it was kind of pointless. But Goto got the win anyway, and I love saying the dude's name, Hiroki Goto. I love saying the name. Next up, we had the Never Openweight Championship between Tomohiro Ishii and Katsuyori Shibata. This was a great match. It was just so, they were just killing each other. They were just forearming each other, clotheslining each other, suplexing each other. It was just amazing. Shibata ended up winning with the penalty kick, and that was just kind of the sleeper match. That was one that I didn't expect to be good. It was just super good, and I loved it. And I think the openweight title is just great because it's a great way to promote other stars that could be outshined by, like I said, Nakamura Styles, Okada, Tanahashi. They could be the ones that steal the show. And this one, while it didn't really steal the show, it was still great. Next match on the card was for the IWGP Intercontinental title between AJ Styles and Shinsuke Nakamura, with Nakamura ended up winning with a knee which looked like completely killed AJ Styles. Both of these guys are going to the WWE, and Nakamura retained the title, so that means that, like I said earlier, Nakamura is probably going to drop the title to Kenny Omega on his way out. AJ Styles just got booted from the Bullet Club, so he is on his way. And I think that what they're going to do with him, I've heard rumors that they're not going to send him to NXT because his contract is just so huge that NXT is just completely out of the question. I think what they're going to do is they're going to make him a mystery entrant into the Royal Rumble because there's always that element of who's going to show up in the Royal Rumble. Last year, it was Bubba Ray Dudley, DDP, and the Boogeyman. So conventional wisdom states that it's probably going to be AJ Styles as one of the mystery entrants in the now WWE World Heavyweight title Royal Rumble match. And finally, we had the main event, which really was the main event. It was Kazuchika Okada versus Hiroshi Tanahashi for the IWGP Heavyweight title. And this match was just great. It was masterfully told. I had going in completely knowing next to nothing about both these guys. Well, with the exception of Okada, seeing as though I've seen him in a few Ring of Honor shows. This match was just great. Okada has one of the most wicked clotheslines I've ever seen. It's called the Rainmaker. Hooks the guy's arms in his front, spins him around, and decks him. It just knocks your socks off. And he does end up winning with the Rainmaker, but there were a lot of near falls in this match, which normally doesn't bother me, but it was like 1, 2, oh, so close. 1, 2, oh, so close. I thought after the third high fly flow, which was Hiroshi Tanahashi's finisher, that would have been over, but it was still 1, 2, 3. No, it was 2 7/8, which was good to hype up the drama, but did they really need all the near falls? But that's another question for another time. But that closed out the show, and like I said, the show was incredible. I loved every second of it, and if they do more shows like this, then I could become a really big fan of New Japan Pro Wrestling. So thank you guys for watching this review. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you want to see more, click the link in the description to see more, and I will see you on the next video.